So I just did a quick cut here, and basically I got a couple of issues trying to copy and migrate this properly one to the other. So let me just open it where it was before. So this is the one we're trying to migrate, and this was the one we're trying to copy. So what I did is, for the one we're trying to copy from the animation, I went ahead and delete all those assets in there and add a couple of new ones, just to simplify a little bit, so we don't have to be worrying about copying every single possible hand and things like that, because we're not really going to use everything. So just make it simple. So go ahead and just delete everything in there that was in here. Just press delete, remove, make sure it's everything blank, add 6 new chains, yeah, and then make sure they have the same name, make sure they match the same bones as well. And then the same from the modular one where we're trying to copy. Go ahead and do this, right? So once you go ahead and you delete all the old one and replace the new one, there's a couple of things that you're gonna have to do it, right? So just go ahead, pause your video, and just make sure you have all this the same as mine. And then after that, let's just follow with me, right? So the first thing you want to do here is, if you notice, there's something called retarget bone. Right, retarget bone is basically the bone that we're going to be using to retarget the whole animation. Normally, when you're trying to create animation, when you try to pass animation to one to the other, you need to know which one is the bone so you can match with your new character. For example, some different animators, they add animation on the root bone, some different animations, they may add the animation straight to the spine. In this case, if you see here, for the one we're trying to copy from, is in the retarget source in the pelvis, yeah? So you can change this by going here and right click and then set retarget animation, right? So the reason why it's very important to us to identify this is because if you don't have this set up properly, our animation can start to play a little bit weird. So to do this, I'm gonna just go ahead to our IK modular, the one who created in there, right? Just gonna open up this, which is that. I'm just gonna open up here, right? And what I'm gonna do here is, where is the pelvis? Before, I'm just gonna leave the way it was before. So just gonna clear the root, yeah. So there was no setup, there was no root bone setup, if you see that. I'm just gonna select the pelvis, make sure you find the pelvis. Right click and just press set retarget root, right? This step is very important, otherwise it will mess up your animation. There's 2 more things that we actually need to do, right? So if you open up this mannequin here, just double click on this guy, and then in there you open up the skeleton, yeah, this guy here. In this cog here menu, if you click on that, you have something called show retarget options, yeah. So the show retarget option basically will make sure that when we're trying to copy the animation from the source to the target, it will play exactly the same. So normally what we should do is, if you open up for the one we're trying to copy here, it's gonna open the skeleton for that guy, and it's gonna move this here, right? So if you open up the menu here as well, show retargeting options, they should be matching, yeah. So they should be, this one should be animation, yeah. So you have animation on the pelvis, and then everything else is skeleton. You can actually apply, like for example, skeleton to all the tunes. If you right click in there and you do recursively set translation to, like, it will basically set all those childrens to skeleton, and then after you can just set up the pelvis to animation, yeah. So it's really important to do this, otherwise your animation will start to look a little bit weird, right? So after we've done this, yeah, make sure they match. I'm gonna close those windows, don't need this anymore. Now we're gonna create another one, another IK retargeter. So we want to transfer whatever the animations from this mannequin to the modular one, right? I'm gonna right click in there, I'm gonna go to animation, I'm gonna go to IK retarget, I'm gonna select the IK mannequin, the one I want to transfer from, right? So the IK mannequin, I'm gonna call this RTG transfer it doesn't really matter. You can just call whatever you want. I'm just gonna call transfer for now because I'm gonna probably end up deleting this after. I'm gonna open up this, and then in here you have the source, which is that. You cannot really change the source, but right now we can transfer to another target. Yeah, the target will be this one that we just created. It's gonna drop it in there, and then you're gonna see straight away that we're gonna have our other character. I know they are the same, okay, but let's follow up now. So the next thing you're gonna have to do here is in the chain map. There's something called here auto map chain. So you just press that button. If that doesn't, for some reason, didn't, for example, if it's lag here, if it went messed up like this, for example, right? You can manually correct that. Make sure they match. So those keys, the target chains, they are basically these things here that we created. Yeah, that's why it's very important for those. I'm just gonna put in here so you guys can see what I mean. This is very important that they match, especially, I mean, the bone chain, sometimes the animator probably use a different name, but it's really important that they have the same name because they are respective, the same thing on the animation, right? And then if you try to, for example, press the jog forward, they should match the animation. Sometimes you may have to do some manual corrections, but after you've done all those animations, they should match exactly the way, right? Nice. So go ahead here. I'm gonna close this for now. Don't need that anymore. Only thing that we need to make sure is that we have the name here, RGT transfer. Just save that name, right? Now I'm gonna close this as well. Don't need that. Now we need to go to our player, character. Let's find here the old animation that is wrong here. Yeah, that's the wrong animation. That animation is wrong, it's using the wrong skeleton. I'm gonna right click on the animation, I'm gonna go to retarget animation class, duplicate and whatever. I'm gonna find the RT transfer, yeah? So I'm gonna change this where I wanna save it, and then I'm just gonna put in the animation 2 for now and press retarget. Right, so right now we can save all this. And I am gonna copy that. Before, yeah, I'm just gonna copy that and I'm gonna place in here, right? So they are the same things. I'm just gonna place in that, compile and save, and the character should be already animated. I'm just gonna change the name here to say dash new, so we don't get confused, right? I'm just gonna press save all, compile and save this. One thing as well, just so we don't get confused in the future, I'm just gonna go to these animations and press delete. I don't need those animations. They don't really do anything. They are not even working properly. So that's how we actually do that. So, right. So there we go. So in here right now, we get our character. It does look a little bit weird, some parts of the animation, but I think that should be fine for this tutorial here. Right. So in here, we have our character with our new animations. As you can see here, there's a couple of issues on our character that we need to figure out why this is actually doing there. Let's check what is the issue here. Just fixing that issue with the character that wasn't moving properly, and that's because let me just expand this image here. That's because we are using a control rig before, which it's nice to have the rig enabled, but we have to kind of set this up properly, otherwise it will just looks weird on the character. So what I did here is I'm just gonna do this from scratch so you guys can follow, right? Just gonna close everything. So what I did here is I went to the player, right? I went to the character, open up the character. So I'm gonna go to the mesh. I'm gonna open up the animation class, yeah, here. Open up the animation class. What I'm gonna do here, normally when you open this window, you should see something like that, yeah. So what do you do here? You go to, you expand this animation graph, open up the graph, and because of the control rig, we don't have that thing set up yet. So that's causing some issues on our character. I know it's nice to have the rig, but for right now I haven't set that up yet, so I'm just gonna go ahead in here and just gonna make sure it goes straight to the outpost. I'm gonna compile this, close everything, and then press play. Right, so right now we have our character set up. I know there's a lot of stuff that we did in here. It may be a lot of things got confused. If you got confused in the video, you know, just go back, rewatch it step by step. But I think the really important lesson here is that we also learn how to retarget some character and animations, and you know, like you can, you're gonna be using these a lot. You're gonna be buying assets on your game, you're gonna be transfer those animations to different characters, and you have to make it work for different things. So figuring out those issues is just part of one of the main problems. But at least now we have a cool character walking around, and right now we kind of have the base of our game. So we're gonna be able now to change these character clothes and add new textures and stuff, so we can create items that we're gonna be able to grab and all sorts of stuff. So right now, what I'm going to be doing now, I'm going to pause, I'm going to stop this video right now, and then in the next lesson, we're going to be doing variable setup and classes creations. So yeah, once again, thank you very much for watching this video. If you got confused, just go back, rewatch a couple of parts. If you have any questions, let me know. I know that especially if you're new to Unreal Engine, even if you're advanced, these parts will be complicated still because the way they change those animations. But there we go, we have a fully working character, and see you guys on the next one.